What's going on, guys? Talman Purple here with Yellow Tape DFS, here to give you my take on week one of the NFL. We're going to dive right in it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the Vegas odds and the implied point totals. We're going to shift right over to that. We're looking at the Seahawks rather, and the Colts at 49, the Cardinals and the Texans at 54. You have the Jaguars and the Texans 45.5, Vikings and Bengals at 47. The Steelers and the Bills at 48.5. The Eagles and the Falcons at 49. The Niners and the Lions at 46.5. Chargers and football team at 44.5. The Jets and the Panthers at 45. The Browns and the Chiefs at 54.5. Green Bay and the Saints at 49. The Broncos and the Giants at 41. And then the Dolphins and the Patriots at 43.5 for this slate. Now, if you're looking at game stacks, the biggest mentions would be the Browns versus the Chiefs, as well as the Cardinals and the Texans. All right, then moving along into weather conditions. It seems to be that there's no problem with the weather for the entire week up to this point. It is currently 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday as I film the video. So stay updated on that just in case anything is subject to change, that you stay on point. Now, moving along, let's go to positions. At the quarterback slot, I love Patrick Mahomes. He is a little pricey at 8,100, but you know he's guaranteeing you 20 to 30 points a game, okay? Same thing goes for Kyler Murray. I think he's my favorite pay-up option at 7,600. These are obviously the two games with the highest implied point totals, rightfully so, with the quarterback sitting at the top. Moving along, Josh Allen. I'm not really a big fan of him this week. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but Pittsburgh's defense has been known to shut a lot of things down, so I'm just not really getting there. Russell Wilson, I might have a couple of dart throws. I don't think that it's a bad spot. I just have other people that I like to get to either after or before him in the price range. Watson is obviously not eligible to play at the moment. Aaron Rodgers. This one here might be one of those games that goes over the implied point total that we see in Vegas with two high-powered offenses. So there is some question of him for play that I would throw him in a couple lineups. Herbert, Washington's defense is pretty good, so I'm all set this week on Herbert, even though he's also great. Ryan Tannehill, I like the quarterbacks on both sides of both of these games, so Tannehill I can definitely see run, even though they have King Henry. But if they're playing from behind, I feel like they're just going to throw the ball a lot more. Now, one of my favorite mid-tier options, and I think that this guy is going to be my cash quarterback just because of his floor, is Jalen Hurts. All right. At $6,400, he's got a floor because he runs the ball. On top of that, he does have some receivers out there that are definitely worth mentioning. We'll get to that when we get to the receiver section. Moving along, further down, any other mentions? Yes, Baker Mayfield on the other side of the Chiefs game. Maybe Wentz having to throw the ball to keep up with Seattle. Then Tyrod Taylor and Sam Darnold if you have revenge narratives. If you believe in that or you're big into it, I mean, personally, I do think Sam Darnold may not be that tough of a choice this week going against the Jets. But if you were looking for an even cheaper option, Mac Jones is $4,400, guys. So that's another safe play in my opinion. How much is he going to throw the ball? I don't know because no one can predict Bill Belichick's methodology. All right, so moving along to running backs. Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara. All these guys are in play, okay? Now, if we're building a cash lineup as we go, yeah, I'm going to plug these two guys in there immediately. Don't worry about it, okay? We're going to keep going down the running back section. Jonathan Taylor. I think they're going to be behind this game, so I'm not sure that he's going to be the biggest threat, and not for 8K at the moment. Barkley, don't know how healthy he is. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. I'd love to see him play and do well, but I just don't feel comfortable doing it. Nick Chubb at 7,200. That's pretty cheap for this type of running back. Not necessarily sure how much he's going to do against Kansas City. The game script looks more to me like a Kareem Hunt week, personally, but we'll see. Other people that I personally like this week, James Robinson. I feel like he is going to finish in a top 5 running back this week. It's just Houston's got an abysmal defense, right? Najee Harris, I think he's going to get boatload of work over there in that game. He's definitely worth mentioning. Chris Carson, if they go up pretty early. Mostert, that's a run-first team. He's definitely worth mentioning. I already mentioned Kareem Hunt. Let's see. Mike Davis may be worth mentioning. He did pretty well last year. Melvin Gordon, he could be a dart throw for you. Anybody further down? I mean, Philip Lindsay and Mark Ingram, I think they are actually both slated to share the backfield. Depending on how the game goes with which one, I'm leaning towards Ingram personally at $4,400. James White at the same price. I mean, those guys would be the lowest I would go in the running back section. Moving along to wide receivers. Yes, all of these top guys are in play. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Jefferson, Diggs, Metcalf, A.J. Brown. All of those guys are in play. It's without question. Everything that you can see here on this page, they're all in play. All right, let's go and examine some of the people that are further down that would make sense of questioning who you prefer. So McLaurin, yes, that guy's in play at $6,400 against the Chargers. I like Landry. I mean, this is the highest point total games right here. Deebo Samuel, if the run game is not going to be adequately assessed, Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk are both in line for a huge game because Detroit's bad on both sides of the ball. Let's just be real. Ryan Anderson, if the run game is not what's getting there, Robbie Anderson. If the run game's not what's getting there, he's going to be helping get there. And if not, there is another sleeper play that we'll get to later. All right, Odell Beckham. Yes, sign me up. That guy's in one of the highest point total games. Brandon Cooks, your number one receiver there. With Tyrod Taylor getting throwing the ball to you, I mean, I'll take a shot at that guy. His target share is too good for me not to want to play him. It runs back the game for Jacksonville and Houston. Now let's check some other run backs. Talking about in the wide receiver section, let me go down. Corey Davis, I don't have a problem with him. All of the Cincinnati receivers, they're going to be playing from behind. They're all in play. Jerry Jeudy has the best coverage matchup against the secondary from the Giants, so he's in play for me as well. Crowder's out, which will bring me to another guy here in a second when I get down there. Michael Pittman Jr., he's definitely in play for me. He's a target share monster on that team at the moment. There's no T.Y. Hilton. Paris Campbell is in a great spot also on that same team. Then moving along, Marvin Jones Jr. at 3,600. If you're not playing James Robinson, if you don't like the run game in this game, I don't know how you wouldn't. But if you want to stack or pair another person on that team, Marvin Jones Jr. is a target share holder. On his previous teams, I wouldn't see that changing much there. Waddle from Miami, the rookie, love him here. He's going to have something to show. Perriman's also a good mention in Detroit. But I do have some other mentions that I like. Number one, we're going to start with Elijah Moore. He's already solidified himself as the number one receiver in the Jets offense. He has a great matchup. When you go down here and look at the Jets, Elijah Moore going against Dante Jackson. Sign me up for $3K. That's cash safe to me. And then another one, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the rookie for the Lions. Now, they're definitely going to be playing from behind, guys. So I'm throwing this guy in for $3K as well in my cash lineup. These two seem like free squares to me, which then goes, who else do we have to run back in the game now? All right, we have nothing running back for Green Bay. We have nothing running back for San Fran or Atlanta. So Atlanta, we have Kyle Pitts is who I'm selecting. We're going to go. Kelsey's definitely in play. This guy's going to get you 20, 30 points a game no matter where he's at. He's a monster. George Kittle, you don't know who's going to be scoring the points on San Francisco. It could be everyone, but at 6,300, I'd rather pay down. Hawkinson, yes, he could be a target share monster. Goff does like tight ends just a little bit, but I'm putting more trust in Amon-Ra St. Brown at 3K. Goddard's fine. I mean, Ertz is also $1,000 cheaper if you want to go cheaper. Being that there's double tight ends in New England with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, it's kind of hard to select one but it will be really, really interesting to see how Mac Jones runs that offense. Noah Fant, honorable mention. Sorry, Smith Jr., you have a rough time there. I know he's going to be out probably the whole season. Tanyan's fine, worth mentioning. Gerald Everett is actually something that caught my eye. The same thing with Herndon, even though they have a ton of targets there, with Herndon going over to Minnesota. Everett, though, it's historical that Russell Wilson does like the tight ends, and I think Everett was a great addition to that team. Moving along to defense. Normally you just punt defense, but because we do have some money left over from the great savings we have at two of these rookie wide receivers. Wookie, I said. All right. Moving along. Defense. With $3,400 remaining, you could play the Seahawks. The Broncos is definitely worth mentioning. Washington football team, Chargers, but I like the Vikings because Cincinnati does not have an O-line. So we're just going to plug in the Vikings here. And this would be potentially what I would be running as a cash lineup. Now, if we wanted to punt on defense, we do have the option of changing some stuff around if you're not comfortable with Jalen Hurts, which I'm not mad with you if you're not. Right? We'll take out defense and we'll take out the quarterback, and then we can definitely move on up. So if you want to, for example, go with Kyler Murray, you still have 2,200. You can punt a defense. If you take out Kyler Murray, let's move down. Or I can give you a different scenario where you take Mac Jones at 4,400. Okay? Let's say you do want to gamble with him. We'll take out Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then we'll just, for example, we'll punt on defense real quick. And then see what we have left over in the receiver section in that 6,400 range. You could get Terry McLaurin, Jarvis Landry, Deebo Samuels. You know, these guys are definitely in play. Odell Beckham. Maybe even Jacoby Myers if you wanted to pair someone up with Mac Jones. Let's take a look. His target share was pretty decent. He's definitely cemented himself as the number one receiver there. So, I don't know. Just an example here. Once again, you can run back the defense and you can still get the Vikings. All right. Now, hopefully all this information does pan out for you guys and it'll make you a boatload of money with just some advice here. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave them in the comments. I will be active on my YouTube channel. All right. Now, for anyone that's new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't done so already, please smash that like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the new content that we do have to offer. I put out videos all week long. So hopefully we're getting in the green. We'll have a recap video after Sunday, probably on Monday, so we can have the recap video for Sunday's night. Sunday's video comes out for Monday Night Football. So we'll definitely have the recap video on Monday to see exactly how the lineup that I choose for cash games does go, even if I put in one of each of these lineups, and we'll take it from there. Until then, guys, you guys stay safe.